Hello, everybody. I'm Tarek Patel.
And I'm Randy Rosenblum, and this is SoCal Prep Report. Well, hello. I got to tell you, last week in prep football in the Southland, pretty interesting stuff. We're going to discuss some great games that were played right around these parts. Tarek Patel, always great to see you. Still working about 6 or 7 jobs. I call him the #1 sports reporter in prep sports in SoCal. All right, game sticks out. I want to talk to you about it. St. John Bosco playing a very good St. Francis Academy team, which in the national polls is in the top 5. Bosco wins it 21-14.
Yeah, you know, St. Francis is a national power, and they go out, they're kind of headhunters, man. They go out and they look for big games. They're always playing Bosco or Mater Dei, or they'll come play Mission Viejo. I want to say maybe in the back in the day they've even played Sierra Canyon. I'm not sure. But point is they travel around the country, and they especially love to California to play a big dog team. In this case, St. John Bosco comes back and wins a great game from Madden Williams.
Yeah, let's talk about Madden Williams. He had 8 catches. They were key grabs late in the game that helped pull out the contest for the Braves. This Madden Williams, you know, we talk about great receivers the last few years, the Shane Rosenthal's. You can go back all through the years on great performers. This kid's right up there. I mean, Madden Williams is big time.
You know, he is. And actually, he's not only big time, he's a big time playmaker. So, not that he's not good all the time, but he's really starting to get known for his big games, like 10 or 12 catches for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. Last year, they played Sierra Canyon, and I think he had 10 catches for 3 touchdowns, 200 yards. I mean, so he's not just good and high level, but he has the capability of really taking over a game.
Tremendous route runner with athletic ability. Right now, he's committed to Texas A&M, so the Aggies have a good one. All right, let's talk about some of the key games from last week in SoCal. Let's start with that next game. We mentioned St. John Bosco, but let's really get into it now. Mater Dei and Kahuku. Now, you and I did this game a couple years ago, and Mater Dei blasted them. So this score stunned me. I thought Mater Dei would blow them out. Obviously, they won, but they didn't blow them out.
Yeah, listen, guys, Mater Dei, the biggest, baddest team in the land, who I have #2 in my poll right now. We'll get to that, we'll get to that a little bit later. The point is, you know, it's very unlike Mater Dei. They have 2 wins by a combined 6 points. They're kind of eking out wins right now. And Kahuku, you know, you go look at who they've played. They really haven't played a great schedule, and they've lost some of those games. So Mater Dei was only leading at halftime 8-7. When was the last time Mater Dei only scored 8 points in the first half? So I think it's more about Mater Dei, unfortunately, than Kahuku, though you'd love to give them some credit for keeping it tight.
Yeah, Mater Dei is struggling offensively, breaking in a new quarterback in Ryan Hopkins. I will say this about Kahuku. It was their 5th game. So from an execution level, that was an advantage.
Okay.
Where Mater Dei played 1 game, had a week off,
yes.
and then played again because of that Bishop Montgomery stuff.
Sure.
And that gave them
That's
an open
fair.
date. I think that was
fair.
a factor.
Yeah, and you know, there was a lot of, and you kind of mentioned at the top, there were some stunning scores that we're still going over, and I think we're going to go over here in a second from week 2. There was almost an element of, was the whole high school sports community distracted last week because of what was going on with Bishop Montgomery? Because there were some really funky scores.
I just think week 2 is kind of crazy.
Okay.
Teams are improving. Some teams fall off. Some teams accelerate.
That's fair.
So
Yep.
I think week 2 is really the key there. All right, let's check out one of those surprise games. Not that Los Alamitos won over a very good Sierra Gardena team, but it's the way they handled them, 41-21. Sarah had not allowed a point in its first 2 outings, and Los Al puts up 41.
Yeah, this was a surprise to me, seeing Sarah Gardena in person earlier this year. I thought, man, this might be Scott Altenberg's one of his better teams, skill-wise, speed-wise, and size-wise. But, man, Los Alamitos clearly has something cooking. They're off to a 4-0 start.
How about Bishop Amat? 1-1 comes in and really does a number on a team from Valencia. Ryan Salcedo, we had on this show in our first program when we were out at Bishop Amat, 5 touchdowns, including the game winner, which, oh, by the way, was a 79-yard run. Great kid, great win for the program.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were stunned by this because Valencia, and you're making a good point about week 2. I think some wins earlier in the year don't look as good now that week 2 is rolled around, and some wins look better than others now that. So, for example, Valencia beat Chaminade on its home turf. So you're thinking, man, and Chaminade had thumped Oaks Christian the week before. So you're like, man, Valencia must be really good, and so is Chaminade. Well, we're finding out, Chaminade's now 1-2, and Valencia might not be as good as we all think, because maybe Chaminade's not as good as we all think. So Bishop Amat comes and clears the air after they took a thumping the week before to Oak Hills in Hesperia. And then, hey, man, a nice win on the road at Valencia. Corey Minor's off to a 2-1 start. Really, really nice for the Lancers.
Really happy for Corey. Again, he was part of that program a couple of weeks ago. Corey Minor, terrific guy, and he's going to get it going at that school, Bishop Amat. Again, they had a terrible year last year, and the year before
Two
they
wins.
were no good. Yeah, they were really bad. So he's turning it around, and that's good. Don't have to worry about that at Sierra Canyon.
Yeesh.
Third straight shutout this time, Punahou out of Hawaii. How about Laird Finkel? Big game, the quarterback there, 4 touchdowns for the Trailblazers. How about this stat? Sierra Canyon has scored 143 points in 3 games. That's almost a 48-point average, but nobody even talks about the offense. That's
Correct.
why I like to talk about Finkel here a little bit, because everyone's talking about the defense, which has not allowed a point.
Yeah, and I've spoken with John Ellinghouse just about every week, and he goes, man, he gets it, and defensive coordinator Chris Rizzo is doing a great job, but John Ellinghouse is like you. He's like, man, no one's talking about our offense. Like, that's pretty good, too. It's like, Coach, your defense is loaded. No one's going to talk about your offense. And you know what? I think if you're a coach, you like that, because there's always pressure on offense to score. Well, now all the pressure is on the defense to let anyone else score, so the offense, I think it's good. I think it's a good recipe for the Sierra Canyon Trailblazers.
So you have just compared me to John Ellinghouse.
Yes.
So I should be coaching high school football.
No, I don't know about that.
I could do that. I'll bet you I could have won those 3 games if I was on the
Yeah,
team.
now that
I would have won those 3 games. The talent discrepancy.
Yeah.
John Ellinghouse is a great coach.
Yeah.
Even if I was on the sideline.
Yeah,
it'd be
put you in a
3-0.
headset. I think you're 3-0 too.
I think so too. Long Beach Poly over Tustin, 28-27. The Jackrabbits had lost their first 2 games. One of them to a great team out of the San Diego area, Lincoln. But this is kind of a surprise.
Oh no, it is. I would call this a stunner. Long Beach Poly was. Sorry, I'm getting a call here. Long Beach Poly was
6-7 jobs. That's going to happen.
Hey, man, what can you do? Long Beach Poly, Tustin was up 21-0 and lost that game. So, and Tustin's good, man, talented Orange County team. But I think there is an element of that loss that'll wake them up a little bit. But kudos to Long Beach Poly for grinding.
Let's give some kudos to the city in Palisades. They have a quarterback by the name of Jack Thomas. Every week he's throwing 5-6 touchdowns. Does it again. Granada Hills, the ground game, puts 44 up. But Pali outscores them 59-44.
Yeah, I think Granada Hills, they play Kennedy this week. And so for me, Granada Hills, they're in this weird, I don't know, the season's weird for me because a lot of their opponents like to pass and they like to run. So there's this yin and yang every Friday night for Granada Hills Highlanders, and they clearly can't stop the pass, yet the opponent really can't stop the run, but they just can't score enough points.
So you're saying you should go to the game because they're going to be very entertaining.
A lot of points.
A lot of points, a lot of scoring. All right.
Yeah, a lot of
there was
points.
a lot of great performances as well. There always is. We like to highlight these different players. And we'll start with Lorenzo Sims of Ramona High School.
Look at that game.
6 touchdowns. You think that's pretty good for a running back?
379 yards, my lord.
Well, that's pretty good. Rosales wasn't bad either for Granada in the loss.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Granada Hills, stable of running. They're running for like 400 yards a game, but they just can't stop anybody.
How about the performance of Cesar Reyes from Garfield? Look at that on both sides of the ball. Running it for 5 scores. What about 12 tackles and a pick
an INT.
in the win over Kennedy?
Yeah, obviously a two-way player, which is what we see a lot in the city section. You don't see a lot of one side of the ball people unless they're quarterbacks.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks, let's bring up Taylor Lee, a young man out of Oxnard Pacifica, 457 yards, 7 touchdowns in the victory over Newberry Park. That's great for Taylor Lee, but what's wrong with the Panthers of Newberry Park?
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting storyline to watch. I don't know. Joe Smigel, Brady Smigel, I think they're waiting for some transfers to become eligible and things might get better for them. Here's the kicker. It's not doom and gloom. Their league isn't very good. So they're going to end up in the playoffs somewhere. And by the way, don't be surprised. A couple losses here and there, not playing great football. They get into a rhythm for league and they end up in the Division III playoffs, and watch, they'll make a run.
Yeah, it's a long season. Let's give some kudos, too, to Brady Edmonds, he's out of Huntington Beach. Fine quarterback there. 351 yards, 5 touchdowns in the victory over Western. Those are our top performances. Now let's take a look at the high school top 10 presented by Tarek Fatal. Just one of his jobs is to put together this top 10. And a new number 1, St. John Bosco as the new top dog.
Yeah, I just felt like right now they're playing their best ball. And the narrow Kahuku victory for Mater Dei, I don't know, just didn't sit well with me. And look, these are rankings, they move. I just thought to myself, if Mater Dei is going to get back up to number 1, there's games ahead of them in their schedule that will garner them to be back at number 1. But for right now, Bosco beating St. Francis Academy, I felt like that was more impressive. And Mater Dei having only 2 wins by 6 points combined and only a 3-point win over Kahuku, I felt drop them down.
Yeah, they're showing 3-0 because that's how it's listed. They get a win against Bishop Montgomery, who forfeited, but on the field, Mater Dei is only 2-0,
right.
So that's a good point. And that brings us, speaking of points, to point counterpoint. All right, we're going to talk about on the field right now, who is really the best team in SoCal in prep football? And I know Bosco's number 1, but Tarek Fatal, who you got?
It's an easy one for me. You know, I like to say it, low-hanging fruit. You don't want to think too much about this one. It's Sierra Canyon. They're 3-0, as you mentioned. Their point discrepancy in regard to points for and points against is a lot of points for and 0 points against. John Ellinghaus has this team focused and playing its best ball. Downey, their next opponent, is known for scoring points with Oscar Rios as quarterback. If Sierra Canyon holds that team to 2 touchdowns, that is pretty mind-blowing stuff. And I'm telling you, as this season continues to build, Mater Dei and Bosco looking a little more mortal every week. Is it the year that Sierra Canyon maybe knocks off 1 or 2 powerhouses this year in Mater Dei and Bosco?
That's a pretty good take. I like that. I don't necessarily agree with it. Sierra Canyon is very, very good, and the numbers are startling. But how can we go against St. John Bosco? They haven't lost a football game. You talk about great defenses, it's not like they're being scored upon at all. I mean, they're giving up 10 points a game, and they're playing stiff competition. To me, the win over St. Francis Academy might be the best win of any win this year by a Southern California team. They have a quarterback in Koa. He's really coming on. Koa is a sophomore now, throws the ball very well. 250, 300 yards each and every game. You know, the Braves are in the Trinity League. They just don't lose football games other than to Mater Dei over the years, and Mater Dei, as you stated, is not playing all that well. So it has to be St. John Bosco. And we mentioned the great player on the flanks, Madden Williams. He gives you that big, talented target that in the close games, and they had that with St. Francis Academy, Madden Williams was the difference. Gotta love the coaching staff. Just a terrific team in Bellflower. Right now, for me, it's the St. John Bosco Braves. Number 1, baby. That's count pointer. We're done. Point counterpoint. Done. Done with point counterpoint. I like that one.
Yeah, that was good. I think Sierra Canyon is the team to beat, man. They're the team that's rocking and rolling right now. So we'll see how they do against Downey, and eventually there's going to be a super matchup down the line with a powerhouse team. We just don't know who it's going to be with yet.
All right, let's briefly talk about the top city football teams. We're not going to put up their records because a lot of these teams are losing right now, crossing over, playing against the southern section. But right now, Birmingham is ranked as the best team. They're only 1-2, but the Patriots are struggling a little bit. They got to win over hard early, but a lot of people still think they're the best team in the city.
Yeah, and you're talking about Birmingham.
Yeah,
Birmingham is the best team in the city right now. I think when you look at teams that are challenging themselves against Southern Section programs, that's generally going to bode well down the line. And Birmingham does it every year. Win or loss, it almost doesn't matter. And their winning streak in the city section, I want to say, is up to 48 now.
No, they got beat. They got beat in the playoffs. It didn't count because of the...
Correct. So
on the field.
On the field.
Okay.
But technically, that streak is still intact because they did get a forfeit victory.
Yeah, but they lost on the field. It's not the same.
Okay. I'm just saying, look, I'm just saying their only loss came to a team that was cheating.
Okay.
You know, that's fair. You know, I mean, we know it now. They were paying players to play football at Narbonne. That's not allowed, man. So I got to almost say with that violation, like, I think Birmingham's streak stays alive.
You know,
that's point counterpoint for next week.
Yeah, it really could be. I had not even been thinking about the streak, just assuming that it was over.
Yeah, no.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That may be your best take of the year.
Okay.
Of course, it's only the second show
Week
you've
2,
done,
I'm done.
You're done. You've hit the top. I just name a couple other teams that
Sure.
are doing well there. Carson, San Pedro, Palisades, and Garfield with the new coach. I think Garfield's a pretty good football team, but right now that other team is Palisades with Jack Thomas. They can really throw the football.
Yeah, you know, Palisades is a team that likes to score points, and Dylan Smith, the coach, has them dialed up. So, yeah, the Dolphins are a strong team. I think they're the favorites to win the Western League and are a surefire open division team. And then, look, not getting into the top 10 ranking per se, but I got to keep, Hamilton, just beat Crenshaw and has a good team. So I think they're going to make some noise too.
Bro, you think it's Hamilton?
I think Thaddeus Bro might be the best prospect in the whole section.
I know it. We're going to talk about him for the next
4 years.
4 years. Oh, yeah.
Whether he's at Hamilton or not.
No, he'll probably be in the NFL. Okay, Thaddeus Bro. Flag football. Let's look at some great numbers here for these teams in the southern section. Orange Lutheran is 14-0. Santa Margarita is 13-1. Newport Harbor, who was the runner-up last year, is 11-0. Jay Serra is 11-0. And Camarillo is 11-0. Flag football is flourishing in the southern section.
Listen, to me, it's all about Olu. It's all about McKenna Cook, and do you have it in front of you how many touchdowns she's thrown this year already? Isn't it something stupid?
It was 35, and they've played another game or two. She's right around 40.
Yeah. In what? Like 10 or 11 games?
14 games.
14 games. I mean, that is just staggering stuff. So to me, Orange Lutheran's the team to beat. They are the defending Division I champions, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, just got by Newport Harbor, who's right there at 11-0.
Yeah. Early in the year. Give me the Lancers.
Okay, city section flag football. Some updates there as well. San Pedro is 11-0. Banning, a very good team, is 5-3. Eagle Rock is 8-0. And another team is Birmingham. They won the first flag football championship a couple years ago. They won their first 2 games just yesterday.
Yeah, of course we know Jim Rose does both, coaches flag and boys tackle. So, yeah, I mean, the Patriots once again are trying to go for another championship, so kudos to them.
And again, it's flag football. They did play 2 games yesterday. You play doubleheaders in flag. Taking a look at the top games in Southern California. I'm fired up. We got some dandies this week in prep football. Have to start with Mater Dei, 2-0 on the field. At Corona Centennial, 2-1. Some people believe Mater Dei could fall here.
Yeah, I don't. It's funny. I think Mater Dei is going to refocus, but I think win or obviously loss would tell us a lot. And Corona Centennial is a good team, of course. But even if this game is close, it might further prove that Mater Dei isn't as strong as we all have seen the last 2 years. So the score to that game is really, really important.
Mater Dei could be caught looking ahead here.
Yeah.
They're playing Bishop Gorman in Vegas the following week.
Yep.
And they're supposed to get hammered. If you look at Max Preps and the projected score for next week, they have Mater Dei getting run out by 3 touchdowns.
Really?
On the road.
Oh, I did not
it's
see
like
that.
a 42-20 type of score. Something like that.
Okay.
So is Mater Dei going to be looking ahead? They better have the focus going to Centennial in Corona. Tough game. I think it could go either way. I would stay away from this game. It's a close game. That's going to be a great game, I think.
You're talking about the Gorman Mater Dei game?
No, I think Gorman will win easy.
Oh, okay. You're still talking about the Gorman Mater Dei game? Okay.
Mater Dei's schedule is insanely difficult.
It might even help them to lose a game here and there just to keep them honest.
Yeah, get them ready for the playoffs, harden them up a little.
That's what matters.
All right, Bosco and Sarah of San Mateo. Now, Sarah of San Mateo's lost 2 games, but normally it's a very good program.
Yeah.
So you
Still
look at
is.
this, it's a feature type of game.
Yeah, it is. It's a NorCal traditional power versus a SoCal traditional power. So I don't think I don't think St. John Bosco is going to have a problem. I think they're going to scoot to 4-0 here.
Yeah, Sarah, by the way, so that's the school of Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. All right, next game. This is a good one. And the Oscar goes not only to Downey because they have Oscar Rios at quarterback. They have Oscar Aguilar, who's averaging 10 tackles a game on defense, who's headed to Arizona State. So the Oscars are in place for Downey.
Yeah, I think Sierra Canyon, again, this is probably their, you'd think that when they played Jay Serra, that would be their toughest appointment, but Jay Serra's a little down. So as of right now, maybe this Downey team is the biggest threat to score, not necessarily beat Sierra Canyon. I don't see this being a problem. I think Sierra Canyon probably wins this game anywhere between, it's like anywhere between 17 and 21 points. It's going to either be like 2 touchdowns and a field goal or 3 touchdowns.
I think I skipped a game. I didn't mean to do it. Mission Viejo at Lincoln in San Diego. Mission Viejo has been brilliant.
This could arguably be the best game in California. Yeah.
This is the game. We said this last week about the St. Francis Academy Bosco game, maybe the best game in the country. Here's another one.
Yeah.
This is, Mission Viejo looked great last week.
The Modern Day Centennial is kind of like a headliner, but if we're really talking football and 2 teams, like this probably is the best football game. And do you want me to mention what's could be at stake a little bit for Lincoln?
Yep. This is a lot at stake.
Okay, because I think for those that don't know, the Division I champion in the Southern section generally never has to play a regional game. They almost just get a bye week into the state championship. And why is that? Because no other section here in Southern California has a team worthy enough to play a Mater Dei or a Bosco before the state championship. Well, I have this theory that if Lincoln beats Mission Viejo, goes 4-0, and then runs the table and wins the San Diego Open Division Championship, they'll be, I'm not good at math, but like 13 and 14-0 or whatever, and they will, I think, garner they will garner the attention for the CIF state office to go, hey, wait a minute, we might be able to put a regional bowl game for the Open Division State Championship, and you could see a Mater Dei Bosco or Sierra Canyon, if there's a miracle, play San Diego of Lincoln before the state championship game. So this game means a lot for this Hornets team.
Yeah, and keep in mind they already have a win over Long Beach Poly handily, so it would be 2 wins over really elite programs from Southern California if Lincoln of San Diego can get the W.
And last stat, Folsom, which is Northern California's, biggest, baddest team right now, just got thumped by Mission Viejo last week. So Mission Viejo is a very, very good football team. So if Lincoln can beat Mission Viejo, that means they're worthy.
Right, I agree. But I think maybe down the road, and a lot of people now have written off the state game because of how one-sided it was.
Right.
Just remember last year what Mater Dei did to Bosco during the regular year. They blew them out. It was like 52-7 or some crazy number like that. When they played in the rematch, it was very tight.
One-score game.
Yeah, so let's not write off Folsom yet, even though they were blasted.
I'm writing them off.
Yeah, you can write them off. But I think they'll be more competitive if they get to the state game.
Maybe.
I think they learned their lesson on how good SoCal football is. Not saying they're going to win it, but I don't think they're going to get killed like that again. Anyway, let's move ahead. Next game, Lou and Sarah of Gardena, another showcase game.
Well, I think you got 2 programs that are coming off losses for the first time. However, Sarah's was a little more embarrassing against Los Alamitos. Orange Lutheran goes on the road to Arizona and plays Basha, which is basically the #1 team in Arizona, was losing 24-0, came back to make it 24-24, and then lost. So they're probably just really ticked off that they let that one go away. So you got 2 teams really upset coming off losses. One team wants to go 3-1 so badly, and you do not want to fall to 2-2 and have 2 straight losses. So there's a lot to play for there, especially the Pride.
All right, I'll quickly go through these next few games. Servite against Notre Dame and Sherman Oaks. Good football game. 2 teams 2-1. Will the Trinity League dominate again? We shall see. Next game that figures to be very interesting, Santa Margarita and Oaks Christian, although on paper one would think Santa Margarita will handle that affair. Tustin and Damien is a good matchup. How good is Damien? We will find out.
Yeah, a couple quick comments. The Oaks Christian Santa Margarita game won't be much of a football game in my opinion, but it's cool because Carson Palmer was the quarterback at the Cincinnati Bengals for a long time, and during that time the wide receivers coach was Charlie Collins, the head coach at Oaks Christian. So that's cool. And then last add on Tustin Damien. I think Damien's really upset about what happened last week against Long Beach Poly, so they're going to give their best shot. But I do think Damien's still going to win.
Now, Palisades and Brentwood, the last game I want to look at here. Palisades showing the way for the city with their vaunted offense. They've won their first 2 games. Jack Thomas threw 6 touchdowns again last week. Brentwood is very strong out of the southern section, so that's a very good game. A couple other notes before we say goodbye in the final few minutes. Again, Palisades undefeated, holding that banner for the city section. How about Ben McEnroe, Heritage Christian?
That's
He's
our
got
guy.
it going there. Our guy doing a great job. And now I want an update from you on Bishop Montgomery.
Yeah, I think the latest update, we'll find out today what happens with the CIF Southern section, but in regard to the players that are still at the school that don't have varsity to play. The families and parents are waiting on the CIF Southern section to make a ruling. Hey, you can transfer without penalty. No, you can't, whatever the case may be. I think that's going to come today, Thursday. Latest news out of Bishop Montgomery is the president, Patrick Lee, resigned, a.k.a. he got fired. So that happened last night. And then additional news that I think is worth mentioning is Brett Stay, the money man, received a cease and desist letter from the Archdiocese saying, hey, stay away from our schools, no more engaging in sports activities in any of our schools within the Archdiocese. And what I think is funny is the letter, the cease and desist letter, which is pretty serious, from the Archdiocese General Council, so it's a big deal, mentions Fattel factor twice in the letter, which I think is really funny.
Just another show that Tarek hosts.
I think it's so good.
The factors everywhere. Wouldn't that used to be O'Reilly?
Well, I think he had one. Yeah. To be honest, it's funny. People have been coming. The immediate that I thought was, remember the show Fear Factor?
Yeah, there was Fear Factor.
That's what I thought of, So Fattel factor. Just got the alliteration going.
Yeah. Tarek Fattel, generating fear to anyone that tries to get in his way. Tarek Fattel taking it over. How about University? By the way, Ben McEnroe, we mentioned him before. He's out at Heritage Christian. It's a new job for him. He's over at Thousand Oaks. He's got him at 3-0. University in the city, are they a contender? They are undefeated. Don't talk about them very often.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't know much about them. I know they got things rolling over there. Good for them. I'm thinking Division I contender, maybe? Or are they going to win Division II? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, they have some tough games. Hamilton coming up, obviously Venice. So it's not going to be easy for them. Ryan Staub, former West Ranch star, plays at Colorado, lights it up. He was the 3rd string quarterback. We had him on the show a couple years ago. Great to see him perform well.
Yeah, he was one of the nicer kids that I got a chance to cover when West Ranch was on their run and won the Foothill League title for the first time ever out there, beating Valencia and Hart and those teams. And Ryan Staub was the quarterback. And real quick, what I remember about Ryan Staub was, remember when Deion Sanders got the job, he basically told all the players that were there to just get out of town. Well, one of very few players that he's particularly said, hey, I want you to stay, was Ryan Staub.
You say get out of town? DeMar DeZern, great receiver, played at Alamany for a while, now at Palisades, track star. He's phenomenal in track, sprinter. He's now committed to Oklahoma. UCLA wanted this guy.
Yeah, he's going to be a boomer sooner, as they say. Now, he's only a junior, so I always think to myself, man, kids that commit verbally that early are likely to switch. So don't be surprised if he flips. And no chance UCLA would get him.
Speaking of flips, another potential D1 player in basketball goes to Sierra Canyon. What can you tell us about Josh Lowry?
Yeah, younger brother of Caleb Lowry, and I think another Lowry that played at Santa Clarita Christian back in the day for James Mosley. But he's only a sophomore. I don't know how much he's going to play,
he's 6'4",
Randy.
He's got size.
But he's going to be behind McCoy and Adams and Martinson and Jordan Mize and Dylan Grant. I mean, the team is loaded. So I don't know how much he's going to play, but he will be a factor. Now, will he be a Fattel factor? I don't know. No, he's a good player, sophomore. He'll be one of their top players here in the next couple of years.
He'll get time because they're going to blow a lot of teams out.
Yeah. No, but I just don't think Mission League game against Harvard Westlake, most teams keep their rotation to 6 guys. He ain't going to be one of them.
Programming note, in the next few weeks, you're going to see some prep football back on LA 36. A lot of city section games coming up, a couple southern section games as well. So football is coming to LA 36.
Looking forward to it. It's always good to highlight the youth. It's always good to highlight Friday Night Football.
It's always good to highlight Tarek Fattel. And for Tarek, I'm Randy. We'll see you next time, right here on SoCal Prep Report.
Yeah, I think Hamilton, I told Asante, if they win the Western League, they're in the Open.
That's a